Shut down a part of Main Avenue for a time. A car smashed into something around 4:30 in front of J.C. Chumley's in the 1600 block. It has serious front end damage and there's even a missing tire. Now, no word on if the driver was hurt or if the driver even stayed with that vehicle. Stay with Valley News Live right here as we look into exactly what happened. Also breaking overnight, police and fire crews went door to door in the middle of the night in Waukesha, Wisconsin, after the fire chief ordered everybody out immediately. The order came after a structural engineer deemed a 48-unit apartment building in imminent threat of collapse. Shutdown averted. Congress has passed a bill to fund the government now through February 18th. The Senate passed that stopgap government funding bill last night, 69-28. It had passed the House earlier in the day. The bill now goes to the president's desk for his signature. 6:53 on this Friday morning, waking up to a fresh coating of snow out there, and we better get used to snow. We're going to see more of it, Lisa.
That's a good point. Hopefully you've got your snowblower ready to go because you're probably going to need it this weekend. This morning, it's more of a shovel kind of day here. We've had about an inch of snow, a little bit more than that in a couple of spots here. Grand Forks, one of those places that picked up a little more snow with the latest round last night. We've got some lower visibility too. You can see those low clouds. Overall, though, doing okay in Grand Forks. Our temperatures there are below freezing, so that snow's not going anywhere unless crews are clearing it, and they've been working at it this morning. 28 degrees there. It's 28 in Thief River Falls too, and I've been watching the DOT cam north of town. They've been dealing with some snow still this morning in that area. Fargo's at 32 degrees, so it's a little more slushy in town in Fargo, but still slick. And in Bemidji, we're at 28. That's where we're getting some snowfall reports at the airport. Fergus Falls is at 34, and Devil's Lake right at that 32 degree mark as well. So temperatures right around that freezing mark. So it's not too frigid, at least, as you're starting off your day. It's looking good for visibility in the southeast in most places, but check out what we've got in the west. Visibility is less than a mile. Half mile in Jamestown and at Oaks. Over in Valley City, we've been struggling for a while now. We're at a quarter of a mile. Some improvement in Cooperstown. We were less than a mile. Now we're at 3. And then in the Northern Valley, more areas where we're seeing some visibility starting to dip a little bit here. Thief River Falls at 6 miles. Again, that's where we're looking at some of that snowfall coming down. And not showing as well on the radar here. You can see a couple of those returns, but beyond that, it's been quieting since last night's round. That will eventually, the lingering areas of light snow will eventually move on here today, and we'll get some sunshine. Here's Grand Forks and your planner for Grand Forks today. Temperatures are going to be making their way up. We'll be back into some mid-30s, above freezing, so it might get a little messy, a little sloppy on the roads, and some sunshine by the afternoon. Watch for the wind. It'll be northwesterly, gusting into the 20s and 30s, steady speeds in the teens. Now, let's look ahead to the weekend. Winter storm watch. This was just issued this morning. It's for Saturday, starting at 6 p.m., so later in the day Saturday until 6 p.m. Sunday. In this area in blue here, that's basically Highway 200, Highway 34 down into Becker County as well, and points north from that. That's where we're looking at the best bet for getting that 6+ inch snowfall potentially with this system. Not everybody sees that much, but the potential is there in this area. Add some 40-mile-per-hour wind gusts picking up behind the system with that, and we've got some issues with visibility. We've got some blowing snow going on Sunday as well. Now, if you're not in the watch, that doesn't mean you're not going to see snow. It just may not be as heavy in that area. We're also wondering about how things are going to shape up for the Holiday Lights Parade in Fargo-Moorhead. Well, you may, one, enjoy the scenery with all of the lights, but the snow may also help to create a very festive-like feel. We've got chances for snow moving into the Fargo-Moorhead area for Saturday evening, and that means you'll probably want some snow boots as you're heading out, and the hats and gloves. You're going to be standing out there for a while, but temperature's not so bad. We'll be into the upper 20s to some low 30s for that parade. But again, keep in mind, it gets pretty tough out there as we head further into the weekend, and of course, we'll be right here tracking that storm for you throughout the weekend.
A lot to go over. Lisa, thank you. It is now 6:57. We have breaking news just into our newsroom. We are getting word that someone has been hit by a car in West Fargo. We do have a crew heading to the scene. It allegedly happened near 26th Avenue East and Veterans Boulevard. Stay with us right here on the Valley today and on your VNL News app for any updates. A South Dakota woman is sentenced to a year in jail for the death of her newborn 40 years ago. Teresa Bentas of Sioux Falls was sentenced to 10 years in prison with 9 years suspended. The case had gone unsolved until a DNA analysis. Investigators say Bentis left her infant son to die on the outskirts of Sioux Falls back in 1981. It became known as the Baby Andrew case. The head nurse at North Dakota's only abortion provider believes there is little hope for abortion rights and for her job in Fargo. The U.S. Supreme Court is considering arguments in a Mississippi abortion ban that could lead to the landmark abortion rights case Roe v. Wade being overturned.
What it means is that women do not get to determine their own destiny. They don't have bodily autonomy. And they're forced to carry pregnancies to term when either they don't want to, they can't afford to. Yeah, it would be devastating.
Hayter says if Roe v. Wade is overturned, the Red River Women's Clinic will have just 30 days to close its doors. The High Court is expected to issue a ruling sometime in June. The jury for the trial of a suburban Minneapolis police officer charged in Dante Wright's shooting death is nearly complete. 12 panelists have been seated, with just 2 needed to serve as alternates ahead of next Wednesday's opening statements. Former Brooklyn Center officer Kim Potter is charged with manslaughter. She says she meant to use her taser as Wright tried to pull away from that traffic stop, but instead she drew her handgun. The first group of 40 Minnesota State Troopers will be wearing their new body cameras next week. The chief of the patrol says fail-safe measures have been put in place to make sure the cameras are on when they need to be. Cameras will be activated during any contact between troopers and the general public. All troopers will be outfitted with those new body cameras by next June. Let's get that answer now to our question of the morning on Facebook. That question we have today is 66% of people say doing this makes them feel better when they're feeling down. The answer? Eating some pizza. Who doesn't love a nice warm slice of pizza? Remember, you can play along every single day on our Valley News Live Facebook page. The Today Show and CBS This Morning are just about to start, but the Valley Today rolls on. More live up-to-the-minute news and weather on the Fargo CW. There we'll have a continued track of the weather system hitting us this weekend. Have a great Friday.